Alright, so we got the chapter 1065 spoilers, and we're finding out the secret of Vegapunk's technology. Like, we've been talking about this for the last couple weeks, since Vegapunk came back into the story, but let's get into it. Seraphim Jinbe attacks Sanji's group. So that's interesting, and I guess that's confirming something that we are also speculating about. Possibly, but Sanji's group here is the group that we saw focused on at the end of the previous chapter. Vega Force 1, Vegapunk's huge robot that has like anti-gravity and jet boosters, like flew up to like Vegapunk's lab, which he calls Labo Phase, which is like on top of like this sky island thing, and he dropped off the Thousand Sunny there, and Zoro and Brook decided to stay on the ship, saying that like they don't trust that woman Lilith. So that left us with what's being referred to as Sanji's group here, where it was Sanji, Frankie, Usopp, Nami, and Robin. And they also got like this alpha change with like these futuristic clothes, but they're basically about to meet Vegapunk, or at least Shaka, the Vegapunk 1, and they're just randomly running into Seraphim Jinbe. And the thing that I was talking about confirming is that I guess that all of the Seraphims are just going to be based off of the previous warlords. I mean, I did speculate at first there was a possibility that Vegapunk was able to make these Seraphims in the image of some of the warlords because he had like their DNA, because he had like Hancock's, Kuma's obviously, and then I thought maybe he had Mihawk's because I don't know, when Mihawk was a child or something, he was experimented on because I don't know, he's special or something, and that's why he became the Marine Hunter. But I guess that's not necessarily the case here because Jinbei's showing up, and unless they got his like DNA from being an Impel Down, I just think that they're just modeled after the warlords because they're supposed to replace the warlords anyway, so it's understandable if that's the case. So that means that we're probably going to see like Seraphim Doflamingo, Seraphim Moria, and maybe even Blackbeard, and possibly even like Buggy. But them attacking Sanji's group, I'm not necessarily sure why they are. So I guess this could be CP0 like successfully arriving in Egghead, because we knew that they had Seraphim Kuma with them, and of course their mission here is to just kill Vegapunk. So maybe they got there and they just released the Seraphims at first, and they secretly had Seraphim Jinbe with them. But if it's not with them, then I guess Seraphim Jinbe was already on the island, because Helmeppo kind of said that there was Seraphims on the island already, because he said he wanted to go there and ask Vegapunk for them so he can go rescue Kobe from Blackbeard. So maybe this is just Seraphim that Vegapunk already had there, and he's attacking them of his own free will because, like I said, Vegapunk kind of like invited them to come meet him. So I don't think he's like doing this maliciously.
But then again, that was Shaka, who represents the good aspect of Vegapunk. So maybe this is actually Lilith, who represents the evil aspect of Vegapunk, sicking this Seraphim Jinbe on them. And it goes back to what Zoro and Brook were saying in the previous chapter about how they don't trust her, maybe.
Hey, but real quick, guys, let's talk about Gamer Subs, because they just dropped a new flavor, and it's made by fellow content creator on YouTube, Jay Schlatt. Well, his new flavor is called milk. Yeah, that's right. It's called milk. And I'm sure you're wondering, like, what could that possibly taste like? Well, I'm curious myself, so I'm going to be trying it for the first time here, and I'll let you know. Of course, got my waifu cup that I always drink my Gamer Subs out of. Dump it in here. Well, if this is what milk actually tastes like, then sign me up, because it's pretty good. So guys, if you're interested in getting some milk or other Gamer Subs, and maybe a waifu cup if they're available, please check out my link in the description, or you can just use code BIGZ when you go to the Gamer Subs website. Thanks, guys. We discovered the other three Vegapunk. Edison and Pagaris are robots. York is the one that eat for the other Vegapunk. Egghead is not the island of the future. It's the island of the past, because its technology is similar to the ancient kingdom technology. So here is the huge reveal. Like I said, we've been speculating about this, but I more so said that Vegapunk's technology is based off of alien technology, but I still do think that the ancient kingdom and alien technology go hand in hand. So first of all, the ancient kingdom that he's talking about here, I think is what Clover was talking about back in chapter 395, like in Robin's flashback when we, went to Ohara before it got nuked. Because in that chapter, he was talking to Cypherpole, who had like this Denden Mushi where the Gorosei were speaking through it, surprisingly, and they were basically saying like, hey Clover, stop doing what you're doing. The Poneglyphs are dangerous. Reading them makes possible the revival of the ancient web, poses a danger to the world. And Clover's like, nah, whatever lies in the past, if it is part of the human history of humanity, then it should be accepted complete. And then going further, he's like, why did the people of the past resort to writing on the stone in order to convey a message to the future? He's referring to the Poneglyphs here. He's like, he made them unbreakable because they felt that their message would be eradicated if left on paper and books. In other words, this is proof that the people who left the Poneglyphs behind had an enemy. If we assumed these people were annihilated by their enemy, then this enemy survived throughout the subsequent history. So, in my opinion, he's pretty much talking about Emu here. But then he also says, after reading ancient manuscripts and the few poneglyphs that have been found, we gradually discovered the existence of a nation of which no trace now remains. What is clear from these manuscripts is the existence of an immense kingdom. It appears that they once had enormous power, but all information about this kingdom has been relentlessly erased. So I think this is the ancient kingdom that Vegapunk is referring to here. And, you know, Clover saying that it had immense power is because they had this freaking technology. And like I also said, I think that the alien technology and this ancient kingdom technology goes hand in hand because the ancient kingdom was comprised of aliens. Like, I think that aliens from like the moons around the One Piece world came down, like we kind of see in the hieroglyphic like murals that Enel reads in his cover story, and they basically started sharing their technology with the people of the world, and they started making like this awesome, you know, kingdom, as it says. But Emu also is an alien. She's probably like the princess of the moon or whatever, you know, like Kaguya Hime from Tale of the Bamboo Cutter, but she didn't want to share with the people of the world, and they did. And she was like, okay, well then I'm just gonna get all of these kingdoms together, which, you know, eventually became the world government, the celestial dragons, also, you know, the Gorosei, they were like the main ones, and we're just gonna take you all out. Emu eventually won, and then, you know, the Void Century happened because that was the period of time that it took for her to create the world the way that it is right now, with like the red line and the water and everything the way that it is now. And then she eventually did something to erase that memory from history, along with you know, clearly the technology. But I also think that like Uranus, which, you know, is implied that Emu has, because we saw her allegedly use that to you know, take out Lelougia Kingdom, that's remnants of this ancient technology that Vegapunk is referring to here. And I think Vegapunk, one way or another, found remnants of this ancient kingdom's technology and was able to reverse engineer it and whatnot, because it also goes back to the Enel cover story as well, because we saw that at some point in time, Professor Tsukimi, who comes from Karakuri Island, the same place that Vegapunk came from, made these automatas, and these automatas are pretty much identical to the ones that Enel finds on the moon. So there has to be some kind of correlation there, obviously. So it's possible that, I don't know, Karakuri Island had some of this old ancient technology there. I mean, it's also likely because, you know, it's like frozen, so maybe it was like froze there or something, or, you know, whatever, something like that. Or it fell from the moon, possibly, but this all kind of makes sense to me. Now, the alien stuff still up in the air, but it's now confirmed that Vegapunk has somewhat reverse engineered this ancient technology. At the end of the chapter, Luffy's group finds some ancient robots. So yeah, I guess he's running into ancient robots from this ancient kingdom, and this is just going to expand more into that lore, I suppose. But that's pretty much it for the spoilers for now. I also heard that maybe this chapter also includes more of Law versus Blackbeard. I don't want to confirm that or get your hopes up. I just heard, so because we're only seemingly getting half of this chapter in these spoilers. So subscribe if you haven't already, because I'll be going over more of these spoilers as they are released. But let me know what you think about this stuff in the comments, and if you liked the video, guys, please give it a like, and please subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.